I now call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Before we move into the agenda tonight, I'd like to acknowledge the passing of our previous board chair, Larry Ogletree. His 33 years of leadership and service meant a great deal to this board, and I'd like to ask everyone to join in a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Notice to the public of the time, date, place, and agenda of the meeting was given by publishing a legal notice in the May 1st, 2026 Aiken Standard. Notice to contiguous property owners was mailed and public notice signs posted on the properties where action by the board was requested on or before May 1st, 2026. Also, notices of the meeting were sent on or by May 22nd, 2026 for posting on the city webpage and to the city clerk for posting on the municipal building notice board at least 24 hours before the meeting. Agenda sheets were mailed or emailed to interested parties. Please note, it is unlawful for any person giving testimony to this board to knowingly provide false information according to section 22-9 of the Aiken Municipal Code. Each infraction is a separate offense with a penalty of up to 30 days in jail and or a $1,092.50 fine. I'd also like to provide some guidelines regarding our meeting. These are public forums in which many opinions are expressed and the business of the city must be conducted. As such, disciplined, honorable, and professional decorum is paramount. Courteous and respectful communication is required. During public hearings, all questions and statements from the public shall be directed to the chair. If you wish to speak, raise your hand and the chair will recognize you. Please approach the podium and state your name and address. In order to allow an opportunity for everyone who wishes to address the Board of Zoning Appeals, speakers should limit their comments to the subject being discussed. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes to address an issue and may only address an issue once unless questions from the board members are posed to the speaker. Moving on to the agenda items. Prior to the approval of the minutes, I would like to note that any items not included on the published agenda shall be addressed following new business and prior to adjournment so that applicants appearing before the board are not delayed by board business. At that time, I will provide an opportunity for those matters to be raised and addressed by the board to the city or related departments. To the board, you have received copies of the regular meeting minutes from March 24th, 2026. Are there any corrections or additions? Hearing.
March 24 meeting minutes.
Thank you, Board Member Coward. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. The minutes have been properly motioned and seconded. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor of the said motion raise their right hand. Any opposed? We have one abstention because Board Member Dukes was absent that day, and they are passed. Old business for the final orders to the city. Have the final orders from the March 24th meeting been circulated for signature?
Yes, they have.
That's them there? No. Yes? Okay.
Yeah, you sign.
Perfect. Did you need a pen? Moving on to new business. I call your attention to application 26-93006. This is a variance request from THMS Enterprises LLC to permit an increase in temporary banner size on property located at 1630 Richland Avenue West, zoned general business, TPN number 104-18-09-002 to the city. Has this been properly posted?
Yes, it has.
Were there any inquiries that you wish to share with the board?
The planning department did not receive any comments or inquiries regarding the request.
Thank you. You may proceed with your presentation.
The subject property, 1680 Richland Avenue West, is a 1.98 acre lot located on the west side of the city in the Calmia Plaza Shopping Center. The property is zoned general business and developed with an approximate 38,586 square foot of commercial space. The request is for a variance to zoning ordinance section 4.4.8.b and 4.4.9.a to permit 3 temporary banners totaling approximately 344 square feet. Pursuant to City of Aiken zoning ordinance section 4.4.8b, each business may have 1 banner per street frontage on the lot on which the business is located. The banner may not exceed 60 square feet. Pursuant to section 4.4.9 of the city zoning ordinance, 1 non-illuminated sign not exceeding 32 square feet in non-residential areas displaying the name of the business, the contractors, the architects, the engineers, the owners, and the financial, selling, and development agencies is permitted on the premises of any project under construction, alteration, or relocation. Such signs shall be removed from the site within 30 days after substantial completion of the project. Based on the size and number of existing banners, compliance with the zoning ordinance would require the complete removal of 1 banner and the reduction in size of the remaining 2 by 272 square feet, thus requiring a variance. The parcel in question is separate from the larger shopping center and is landlocked without any direct street frontage. You can kind of see that here in this picture. This blue outline is in fact the parcel. It has neither road frontage on Cedar Lane or Richland Avenue West. This limits any freestanding signage on the parcel from being located along the road frontage or a road frontage. The parcel is approximately 160 feet from the roadway, so that's this distance here from Richland Avenue West. And the structure itself is set back from Richland Avenue West by approximately 450 feet. So that's the front facade there. Information provided by the applicant about the request is contained in Exhibit A of your agenda packet. As depicted on the attached zoning map found in Exhibit C, some variation exists regarding commercial development in the immediate area. Most development in the shopping center is located on larger parcels and concentrated towards the rear of the plaza. That would include this here and these structures here. However, this parcel and this parcel are separate and have road frontage either along Richland Avenue West or Cedar Lane. There are several smaller commercial lots which are closer to Richland Avenue West. There's an outlot here, 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 and here, each of which have road frontage. Exhibit D in your agenda packet contains photographs of the property taken by staff depicting the existing conditions of the property. That's just one of our notice signs there. A little bit difficult to place because, again, minimal road frontage or 0 road frontage. And this was taken by our zoning official, illustrating the location and size of the banners on the front facade there. The planning staff's evaluation of the request, as well as the applicant's response to the required 6 variance criteria, can be found starting at page 2 of the agenda packet. This concludes staff's presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Max, how How temporary are these signs? Has there been any discussion?
Yeah, so the coming soon sign is required to come down after 30 days of substantial completion of the project by the zoning ordinance standard. The other two, when we say temporary, they can be up, banners can be up permanently. They're just classified slightly different than, I guess, more traditional signs, because they can be more easily removed, I guess. They're not so permanently affixed to the frontage of the building.
So which signs would come down and which signs would stay or be modified?
Well-
Of those three?
So yeah, the coming soon sign would have to come down, assuming if it's approved today, would have to come down 30 days after substantial completion of the project. By right, neither of those other two banners would be allowed to stay up. They're too large.
Is the coming soon sign conforming?
No, that exceeds that 32 square feet
Okay.
of the, they're basically, yeah, coming soon signs. I mean, there's a number of other categories that apply. You can display the name of the building, the contractors, architects, engineers, owners, development agencies, et cetera. Any project under construction, alteration, or relocation, but that is limited to 32 square feet in size.
So that's the size of a piece of plywood.
Relatively small.
So to follow on that, Max, is the banner what the city is referring to, say, as the side, those are the banners? And if they were sized correctly, the language in 4.48 under D says they can stay up indefinitely.
Correct. Yeah, they're temporary in the sense that they're classified different from the signs that are, I guess, more manufactured and installed onto the side of buildings. Typically, they include lighting, which are, I guess, a little bit more difficult to remove. These are affixed to the side of the building. There's a number of other banners around the city, but they're classified as temporary signs because of how they're basically affixed to the side of the structure. But they can remain up indefinitely.
As long as they're in good condition based on the language and the
Correct. And
ordinance.
they meet,
Okay.
the size standards.
Okay, thank you.
Do these meet the size standards?
No,
They're-
in total, they are 272 square feet over what would be allowed. The maximum they'd be allowed currently would be 93 square feet.
So when do these two
Excuse
extra
me,
ones,
92.
when do the two extra ones have to come down?
Well, so if the variance is not permitted, they all have to come down because none of them meet the size and there's too many. So basically, they would have to reduce the total square footage by 272 square feet and reduce the number from 3 to 2.
But if it's passed, then it comes down 30 days after the completion of major work.
Only the middle one would come down.
Yes.
That's the issue.
And the other, everything would be changed, right?
In terms of,
Well, only the middle one, that would leave the two on the ends, or?
If the size
yeah, they would be
was-
allowed to keep them up. I mean, they could theoretically take them down, but yeah, that would permit those two to remain indefinitely as temporary banners that exceed 60 square feet.
Okay, thank you.
John, is your question if the middle banner was reduced in size, would the other ones remain? Is that what?
I was just wondering which, after 30 days, what's going to be the configuration?
Yeah. Okay.
But that doesn't, as long as they fall within the parameters of the ordinance.
Size. Yeah. Bud.
So, if I understand it right then, Max, after 30 days, the middle sign comes down, but the other two signs have to conform to the size.
Correct. Yeah, so basically, as it stands, there is one too many banners. The coming soon sign is restricted to 32 square feet. The second banner would be restricted to 60 feet. Both the coming soon and one of the other two banners, whichever, doesn't really matter, I think they're approximately the same size. Both too large. So you're only allowed two banners, one of which to advertise that it's coming soon. That has to be removed after 30 days of substantial completion of the project. the other banner can remain, but its maximum square footage is 60 feet.
Okay, what is substantial completion of the project defined as?
There's, to my knowledge, there isn't a definition, but yeah, presumably it would be when it was open for business.
So my, oh, Jesus Christ. So my question is, it says that these are temporary signs, particularly for marketing purposes, you know, I'm assuming. And the construction is scheduled to be completed June, July of 2026. What is the plan for signage after building completion? And the reason that I ask is because I'm gonna be honest with you, I can't see, unless I look over there, I don't see the signs at all. So they could be 500 square feet, they could be 1,000. But the way that the building sits from the road, unless you look that direction, you don't see the signs at all. So just, you know, from my perspective, I don't really know how much justice the signs are actually doing for the business now from a marketing perspective. If they're doing any, from what I've heard, everything that I've heard has come from social media, just being honest. I haven't seen any signs. And I go to the gym to work out anytime that's right down there. I'm over there a couple times a week and I don't see the signs. So what are the future plans, I would say, for signage after building completion? Because I know we have some restrictions with the lighted signs and the parking lot, the way everything is.
The applicant may be able to address that
Okay.
a little bit better. I don't know if we've received a formal sign permit. Again, these temporary signs are not part of the formal sign permitting process.
Gotcha.
I believe, based on the zoning classification, it looks like they could probably go up to, I think approximately, well, I'd have to look at the, typically it's pretty large for general business.
Okay.
For signs that are affixed to the structure themselves. I'd have to get back to you on their maximum square footage. I can't quite find it in the ordinance right now, but it's my understanding that they haven't submitted a formal building,
Gotcha.
sign permit.
Understood.
But it does have its own parcel, so they could, theoretically put a more permanent sign in the future. But yeah, they're as I mentioned, it doesn't quite, the parcel doesn't go all the way to the road frontage, so they could, again, theoretically submit a site and landscape plan that had a sign somewhere in here.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
based on kind of the configuration of the parking lot, that would probably be a little bit more difficult. They're
Yeah.
really kind of restricted for just signage on the structure itself. And I'd have to get back to you on that number, but I can look
Yeah.
it up in a second.
Okay. All right.
Max, on the photograph of the sign, there was an April 1 date. Was that the day of the photograph or the date the signs went up?
Yeah, I believe that was taken by our zoning official on that date. I'm not sure how much longer they had been up. But yeah, so approximately.
And that is a good question because, I mean, if we're only talking a couple more months and they've been up for a year.
Yeah, I don't know. I just the question.
Yeah, I know.
Temporary signs, and we're looking at 30 days after completion of the project.
Yeah, so it's my understanding that they're not open yet. So yeah, that would, even if it took them 7 years to build out, they could still have that coming soon. So that's a little bit different. These were put up, noticed by our zoning official. We made contact with the property owner or the applicant, and because it was going through the Board of Zoning Appeals action, they were allowed to remain up until a decision was rendered.
So they could still have some temporary signs up until the completion of the project. But if they said, okay, we'll comply with the square footage, the number and so forth,
They can have a banner.
they can have a banner, they can have the coming soon sign, it just have to be the right size.
Redone.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
The banner for advertising purposes, basically these two, would be restricted to 60 square feet. The coming soon would be restricted to 32 square feet, and yeah, they're only allowed 2 banners per parcel.
Madam Chairman, if you look at the second to last page in this packet and you see the Hibbett sign and the Ace Hardware sign, if they were to make something for the side of their building, that could be seen from the road. And they could have something nice. But we can talk to them.
Agreed, yeah, I think we'll hear from the applicant unless there's any more questions from the board to the city. Okay. The applicant or their representative, you're welcome to approach and state your name and address.
Good afternoon. Thank you. My name is William Stratford, representing THMS Enterprises LLC, doing business as Big Air Aiken at 1680 Richland Avenue West here in Aiken. And so thank you for the time to speak. To clarify, these are temporary, and all 3 of them will come down within the 30 days of grand opening, which is, write this in pencil, July 15th. We do have a permanent sign that's in production. We got the permit approved, I think it was a week before this picture was taken, and it is going to be the permanent fixed track lighting that's lit, that's similar to the Ollie's, similar to the Hibbett Sports. It's in production now. It's scheduled to be at the printer on June 18th, and so they'll have it installed a week-ish after that. He promised me by the 26th, as long as the production schedule remains true. So that will go up. These would stay up until a couple weeks after grand opening, and then these would all come down. They have a shelf life on them anyway. They don't last very long, so they would start to fade in short order. And as I mentioned in my application, this was, the long and short of it is, it was a boo-boo by the printer. They took some creative licensing and made them, saw how far back we were from the road and said, oh, these need to be bigger. I gave him these because these were what the park in Lawrence used. And I said, hey, make me some banners like this. He said after the fact, we probably should have known there was a size restriction, but he took some creative discretion, made them that big, and put them up, and cost me about $2,500. And then, of course, to comply with the ordinance, I would have to pay him to take them down, pay him to make a new one that does comply, and then pay him to install that. So the project is already quite expensive, so that's why I applied for the variance, in hopes that these could stay up for another 6-8 weeks and then be gone forever.
Thank you for that. A couple of questions right off the bat. Is the vendor that you're using for the permanent signage the same vendor that did these that were not to code?
Yes.
Has he checked to make sure that they are compliant with the code?
Yes, because the permit's already approved.
Okay.
For the permanent sign.
Okay.
So that meets all requirements.
Excellent.
Mr. Dennis approved it. It's good to go, if you will.
Great. So this was a local vendor
Allegra in Martinez.
in Martinez. Okay, that explains a lot.
I've known the owner. He got me in the Rotary Club of Columbia County when we lived in Grovetown in 2017. So I wanted to give him my business, having known him for so long.
Understood. There is an Allegra in Aiken, just FYI. Are there any questions from the board to the applicant?
How long has these signs been up currently?
They went up on March 26th.
March 26th, okay.
I'm curious, full disclosure, I'm a commercial real estate broker. Can you speak to how far along you are in the build out? As far as I know, you're targeting July 15th. Is that a local GC that has given you that date? And do you feel fairly sure that you're going to have either a soft or grand opening on that date, or possibly 30 days after that? Are they planning on delivering you the space on the 15th?
The construction, we had the rough-in inspection, so electrical's run, plumbing is run, fixtures are going up, paint is complete. The construction is probably going to be done in the next 3 weeks. When I met with my GC 10 days ago, the attractions, some of them are coming from Europe, and they're arriving on the 9th of June. And so from that, it's a 30-day installation schedule. And that's without me there helping. It's with 4 installers from the attractions company. And then I'm going to be there as well to provide extra muscle. So 30 days with 4 people. Hopefully it sticks to 30 days with 5 of us. And at that point, most of the construction will be done. It's punch list items while we're in the space building the attractions, assembling the attractions.
Max, this may be a question for you in relation to this. Is he going to require a CO within a certain period? And Thomas, you may be able to speak to that as well from the city that would delay that any further.
That I don't know. That would be handled with building inspections.
Yes.
I don't know if they would require a CO and how long that time frame would take.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
speculatively, we might.
So July 1st is definitely probably wishful thinking. I would push more towards August, just on the safe side. As far as like just having just having all your paperwork from the city and permission to open the doors. There are just administrative delays that can throw you off like a week or so. But even with your timeline saying that the equipment comes in, June 1st, just setting that stuff up, like it looks real complicated. I've been inside these places and it just looks very, very cumbersome. So I definitely would push for more of a August, door opening type date. I'm wondering if a couple more months of the signage being up would be if it make a huge difference. I think if we were talking another 6 months or a year, maybe, but yeah.
Has the printer offered any sort of, I understand to reprint, there's obviously materials and time. Have they offered any sort of mea culpa for not covering their bases that would take the burden off of you financially to reprint them if that was what was required?
Hasn't been offered, and nor have I asked. Because, again, one of the benefits and curses of doing business with friends.
Sure.
Yeah.
Understood.
I would definitely consider that, though, especially since they're doing the other sign for you.
Awesome question.
Well, the big sign came in about $2,000 under the estimate, so I'm happy about that.
Are there any other questions from the board to the applicant? Do we, thank you. I think that's fine for right now. Do we have any others to speak to the variance request? Seeing and hearing none, the board may entertain a motion so we can enter a period of discussion.
I'll be glad to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that variance request from THMC Enterprise to permit 3 temporary banners on the property at 1680 Richland Avenue be approved with the following conditions. I don't think the final order shall run with the land. It should be recorded at the Aiken County RMC office. And that if it's, let me see how to say this. After the opening, that any banners or signs shall comply with the city ordinance on square footage.
I'll second that.
To modify the approval of the variance, including a timeline of when they come down? Is that what you want to add to the motion?
I mean, August, you know, if it's not complete by August, then it needs to.
You want me to amend my motion? And that all, well, the one banner will have to come down 30 days after the opening.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, and Max, I'll have you check me on this, the variance is the fact that they can stay up at all at the current size, correct?
Correct, and in frequency and number.
So if I'm understanding the motion, you're approving the variance, but with,
With the right sizes.
well, then they're not getting the variance.
They're getting it for now, but once they start having foot traffic in there, they have to comply with the city rules. That
So,
would either be a permanent structure, or if they wanted a banner, they'd have to have it to the right square footage so that they're in compliance with other businesses.
well, just for clarity, based on the ordinance, they do have to come down anyway. So what they're asking for is for them to remain at the size they are. So if you're granting the variance, there's already what's baked in, correct me if I'm wrong, is the date that they have to come down already. If you would like it earlier, we would have to modify the language for the motion.
That was not my intent, for them to come down earlier
Then the required 30 days.
after the opening.
I guess the issue that's been brought up is we're not quite certain when the opening is gonna be, so
Correct.
it could be July 1st, it could be August 1st, it could
Yeah.
be September 1st.
And we shouldn't put a date on it. It should be up to the construction and the owner.
Okay, so again, just for clarity, so we understand how the motion is to approve the variance at the size that they are.
Right, for now. Until foot traffic starts to go in there. And then the coming soon one will have to come down. And the other two would have to comply with the signage size if they want to still keep them up there.
Yeah, but that's already on the table, right? That is,
But if they put up a sign on the side of the building, they'd
Correct.
come down anyway.
she's making a motion to approve.
To approve, correct. And you did make a note, and again, just for clarity, that you didn't feel it should run with the land. Did you want to change that to run with the tenancy of that tenant?
Well, they won't need a banner up saying coming soon.
Correct, the land won't, the owner won't, but the,
No, I don't think anything should run with the land. We have our city rules.
correct,
They should have to comply with the city rules.
right. So did you want to change the language from,
Said to take the final order shall run with the land out.
and did you want to replace it with who it's applicable to? For example, just the tenant?
It's for the applicant.
Correct, or the tenant, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, the owner and the current tenant are
Two different.
distinct entities, so, yeah, it would be important to distinguish between the two,
correct.
if you feel it's
So would the
necessary.
word business be the appropriate word there? This business that whatever the name of the business is,
I
runs with the
suppose so,
business.
Yeah, you could presumably say the final order, shall run with the tenant,
The
the business as the LLC, I don't remember. the
Tenant
acronym.
doing business as.
correct. Do we need to amend the motion for the minutes, or is that,
It's probably a good idea.
okay? Do you want to restate it and say that it runs with the tenant doing business as for the minutes?
I'm not sure why that's needed at all.
I think just for clarity, for the minutes.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I was just saying for the clarity of the record, the minutes.
That you want this to run with the tenant?
Correct. Doing business as THMS Enterprises LLC. If you feel it's important to distinguish between the tenant and the owner of the property.
Well, I don't think it's necessary, but I'll do it because we already have rules in place that'll take care of this once the business is open. But if you need it, okay, we'll put that in there. But
I think it's fine as it is. It's clear to me that once business starts, then the clock starts ticking to when it comes down.
Correct, as it is in the ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's why I said I don't think that's necessary.
the only point of clarity that we're trying to make is that you wanted to omit the final order shall run with the land, and we're just changing that to say that the final order runs with the tenant. That's the only amended language. Everything else is correct.
Why does it need to, the final order need to run with the tenant?
Because then the variance is going to apply to any other person that occupies that building to not have compliant signage.
That's kind of the standard language, is it not? You know, land is pretty much permanent, and the ownership is temporary.
Well, the ownership runs with the land, but the tenant is what's.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that to say run with the tenant is fine, and it's kind of the conventional language, I think.
Right.
Is it not?
I would agree with the language as I tried to state, that this is, it runs with the tenant doing business as.
Right.
Now, the
Correct.
tenant could be here today and gone tomorrow.
Correct.
So we want this to apply to that business as stated on the sign.
Correct.
There could be a year from now or 2 years from now, there could be a grocery store there, or there could be another big box store or something like that. But we want this to apply to the tenant doing business as whomever they are.
Correct. Versus.
THMS Enterprises LLC.
Correct.
And once they vacate it, however long their lease is, they decide to vacate it, then it no longer applies.
It doesn't run with the land.
Does
Correct.
not run with the land.
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Correct.
So let's agree that I gather what we're saying, let the language state on item number 2 that final order shall run with the business doing, or with the tenant, doing business as THMSC Enterprises LLC.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And your second.
I'm on the second.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, it's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the variance request with no further discussion. Those in favor of the motion show by raising their right hand. Any opposed? No, it is unanimous.
If you remember, this is the second time a sign issue has come up over that property.
Yes.
Which we denied the first time.
Yes. I don't know if that was before my time. Was that for Ollie's?
It was, no,
Okay.
it was for the mattress place that was in there before this. They wanted a sign out on the corner.
Oh, yes, that was the different placement for, yeah, that was a permanent sign. I do recall that. Okay, moving forward, I call your attention to application 2693007. This is a variance request from Nnamdi Aniadobe, apologies for the pronunciation, to permit a reduced side and rear yard setback on property located at 126 English Oak Lane Northwest, zoned residential single-family RS6 at TPN 04-08-06-011. To the city, has this been properly posted?
Yes, notice has been properly posted.
Were there any inquiries that you wish to share with the board?
The planning department did receive one inquiry by phone from a neighboring property owner across the cul-de-sac, but they were just basically inquiring the nature of the request. They did not comment regarding the nature of the request.
Thank you. You may proceed with your presentation.
The subject property, 126 English Oak Lane Northwest, is a 0.27 acre lot located on the north side of the city in the Grand Oaks neighborhood. The property is zoned residential single-family RS6 and recently developed. The request is for a variance to zoning ordinance section 4.2.1 to permit an approximate 8.9 foot side yard setback and an approximate 25.4 rear yard setback. Pursuant to section 4.2.1 of the city zoning ordinance, the primary structure on lots zoned RS6 must be set back from the side property lines 10 feet and the rear property line 20% of the lot depth, not to exceed 50 feet. Based on the varying depth of the property, compliance with the zoning ordinance requires the structure to come no closer than the average depth, which is 31 feet from the rear property line and 10 feet from side property lines, thus requiring a variance. Side yard setbacks are fixed distances regardless of lot width. The site plan submitted to the city's building inspections department shows a 46-foot front yard, 2 10-foot side yard, and a 25 rear yard setback line. The building permit was initially issued in 2023 and signed off by the planning department at that time, but construction did not begin until 2025. At that time, a visual inspection of the foundation was conducted and approved. However, the city does not require pre-construction surveys prior to issuing building permits or beginning construction. An as-built survey was commissioned, and the setback encroachments were discovered. On this side yard, 8.9 feet, and here 25.4 in the rear. Information provided by the applicant about the request is contained in Exhibit A of your agenda packet. As depicted in the attached zoning map found in Exhibit D of your agenda packet, some variation does exist regarding residential development in the immediate area. Most development along English Oak Lane consists of mid-2000s era single-family construction on lots deeper than they are wide. Some parcels in the vicinity are more rectangular in shape, but most are irregular, especially along the cul-de-sac frontage here as well as down here. Most homes in the area also appear to encroach into current city setback requirements to some degree, especially the rear yard, primarily due to the cul-de-sac design and lot orientation at the time of initial subdivision. Exhibit E of your agenda packet contains photographs of the property taken by staff depicting the existing conditions of the property. That's just our notice there. As you can see, the home is relatively new construction. I believe they wrapped up earlier this year. That's just the front of the home, and this is the side of the home that is encroaching approximately. The distance to the property line is approximately 8.9 feet. I did not walk onto the property to take a photo of the rear. The planning staff's evaluation of the request, as well as the applicant's response to the required 6 variance criteria, can be found starting at page 2 of the agenda packet. This concludes staff's presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Max. Do we have any questions for the city from the board? Bud.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
We have lots of questions.
You first?
Bud, go ahead.
Thank you. You said that the planning department gave approval of this site plan back in '23.
Yes, as part of the building permitting process, the planning department is required to sign off.
Was that site plan this exhibit,
Should be the one from designer house plans. I was showing a
So that one.
25-foot rear
so
setback.
that's what, okay, that's what y'all approved.
Yeah.
I mean, planning department approved.
Correct.
It says, mine says 25 feet setback.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, now, you cited a 20% requirement of the front. Was the planning department not aware of this 20% when they approved this site plan? Or am I missing something here?
Presumably, it wasn't calculated. I mean, my guess is it's based on the 140 rather than the average, but I'm not sure why it wasn't noticed at that time.
Okay, but then it took a surveyor, professional surveyor, registered land surveyor to come up with the final survey.
Correct.
And then, on his drawing, it shows
It's actually
the building
yeah.
line.
Yes, that's the average lot depth of 31 feet. But because it's an irregular shape, yeah, we typically take an average of the lot depth, not one side or the other.
But the shape didn't change from the time the planning department approved it to the time the survey was completed, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so the lot stayed the same,
It's my understanding, yeah.
and nothing changed on the 20% or anything like that, right?
That standard hasn't changed. It just wasn't noticed at that time in 2023 that 25 feet wasn't 20% of the lot depth, the average lot depth.
Nancy, I think you had a
Well,
question.
I just wanted to ask where the downfall was, and it was with the planning department, not the builder.
Well, that would be for the rear yard setback. The side yard setback is as built encroaching, and the deviation.
Was it not approved to be built like this?
It was approved to be 10 feet from the setback. It's 8.9. So that is encroaching.
So let me ask, I don't know how often you go out, but you told them this is what, you told the builder, the buyer, who is the person that y'all told had to be 10 feet from the side property lines?
The planning department did not have any contact with either the builder or the owner of the property. This was submitted by a construction company, presumably, in 2023. It came across our desk and was approved, but as built, it is also encroaching in that side yard setback. That was not approved by planning. So we approved this plan. They were showing 10 feet. They're actually 8.9 feet. So that was not approved by planning.
So it would be up to the owner to know that the builder did it wrong?
I mean, again, we don't ask for as-built surveys. The building inspector will go out and approximate where the footing is, but without survey markers, it's hard to tell.
So what triggered then the survey?
I
Is that
believe the
required
property's,
after,
I believe the property is for sale, and the owner, or excuse me, the potential buyer requested a survey be done.
John?
Correct me if I'm wrong, or I'm just not getting something here mathematically. I get the 8.9 side yard setback. The rear yard setback is 25 feet?
No, it's 31 feet. It's the average
Okay,
lot depth.
okay. That
Technically
answered
from-
my question.
Technically, from the
That's
zoning
all I
ordinance
have.
perspective, it's 20% of lot depth, not to exceed 50 feet.
Okay.
But because the lot varies in depth, we take an average depth,
All right.
which comes out to about 31. However, on the approved site plan, they show a 25-yard setback, which they are meeting that. They're a little bit, actually, I think, further away. But in any case, yeah, that 25-yard setback was not caught by the planning department. It should be a little bit higher than that,
Okay.
the initial site plan.
That was the source of my confusion.
So, Max, this is more of a curiosity question because perhaps this is something that you've encountered before, but the one statement that stood out for me was that the city does not require pre-construction surveys prior to issuing building permits or beginning construction.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that possibly should be addressed in the future? Just for preventative measures, because obviously there was a couple of factors at play. It was missed for the one setback, and then as a result, we've got two issues here with the side setbacks. I'm wondering, just, is that something that would help with planning to prevent that in the future, to be noted?
I mean, it would certainly help with preventing issues, but I'm not sure who would implement that, whether it be building inspections or us. That would probably have to come from building inspections. It's my understanding that some jurisdictions do require it, but they do not, because it's another financial
Burden to the, yeah.
builder or property
What I
owner.
don't want to see
Yep.
happen is that people just build and then they come and ask for permission after it's gone wrong. And I don't think anybody, John may remember this, but there was a house that went over the line and built on the neighbor's property.
Yeah.
And we made them take it down and move it back.
So actually, I think it falls on the builder and the inspector. Because when the footers were put in, the inspector probably should have did his due diligence and kind of walking it off or rolling it off or just whatever to ensure that the, the footers and everything is falling within the parameters of the setbacks. I mean, that's just typically how it goes. And I think this was just a slip up, by the inspector. And because we're talking, like a few, it's very easy to do. Like it's a few feet, right? So, and even with the side setback, I mean, you're talking a foot, 1.1, feet. So it's something that definitely, can happen. But I don't think it's any fault of the customer. But I think it's a builder inspector, type things.
I would say it's relatively infrequent, and
Yeah.
I think part of the issue too is this parcel to the east is undeveloped, so there isn't a fence, for example, that they can gauge. It's basically just not overgrown, but it's natural vegetative state, so
Yeah, trees over there. So
it's pretty difficult to determine that property line without a survey marker.
Well, and I'll agree with you partly, but you have a cul-de-sac. When you have a cul-de-sac with uneven, non-parallel property lines, I would think that would trigger something in the planning department. Say, wait a minute, we've got a standard here. We gotta
better
take an
check this.
average, we gotta take an average here and standard, and even though this drawing may show 25, let's make sure that this setback is proper. And to me, missing it by 6 feet, that's
Pretty
to me
substantial.
significant.
yeah, 6 feet. Yeah, sure.
And
I'm not
so-
sure why it wasn't noted.
anyway,
Well,
but-
whose position would it be to notify them that this needs to be checked more carefully? Would it be your job? Would it be the zoning board? Whose job would it be?
I mean, we try to catch as much as we can. I mean, there's a lot of building permits that come across our desks.
I think it would be helpful, just as a suggestion from the board, to say with the implementation of the UDO, and just sort of noting going forward if there's room in that update, just so that you have coverage, and because it can obviously set a precedent. We don't want to set a precedent for other properties. We're trying to avoid that. And of course, if somebody comes in and purchases the lot next door, and then we're hearing from someone else to say, well, next door had, and we're sort of up against the same thing. And I think to Bud's point, we obviously have to take into consideration different size lots located on cul-de-sacs. So we want to do it obviously for communications with planning department as a whole, and also to avoid multiple applications for the same issue, ideally. But
That standard might change too.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, That
But
might be increased or reduced
Yeah.
depending.
so if it's on record and can be brought to planning's attention, that it's something to factor into the UDO, that would
Double
be,
and triple check.
yeah. And just to have language to possibly suggest that moving forward, the city does require, understandably, as those of us in real estate know, we always advise our buyers to do a survey for exactly this reason. I guess my question to the city is, once a new survey triggered this and found this, wouldn't that have been brought to the city's attention? Like, who said, oh, there's a problem? That's the part that I'm kind of missing. Was that brought by the applicant to the city to say, hey, we do have an issue, or who?
Well, I believe the house is for sale, and so as part of the sale of the property, the new buyer would like it to be legal, non-conforming, rather than just an error.
Correct.
They don't want to inherit,
Yeah, a
potential
problem.
issues
Okay.
down the road, so,
Yeah.
but they're not the owner of the property, so the owner of the property and developer have brought forth the application to get it formally.
Well, I, for one, would not vote for a variance on another one of these lots out there. That this city needs to make sure, I mean, I probably will vote for this variance, but not another one if it's the city's error.
Do we have any other questions from the board to the city? At this point, the applicant may make a presentation to the board. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Thank you, for that. Well, hearing none,
Make a motion.
we can,
Is there anyone else to speak to?
oh, well, clearly not. Is there anybody else to speak to the variance?
For or against?
No? Hearing none? I'm sorry, Ben.
I guess my question would be, if the lady, maybe if she could just step up, say she's, the applicant is not here because of a prior commitment, have it on the record that the applicant's not here,
Sure.
and then she's not here to answer questions or anything. Just, I assume you're here not to answer any questions.
I mean, I could try, but I work for,
If you could just state your name and
my name
address.
is
Name.
Michelle McDonald, and I'm here for 126 English Oak Lane.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I work for him, but his wife kind of built the property, so I really haven't been involved much with it. So I really couldn't answer much that you guys probably ask, because I work for him and it was kind of her project,
Okay,
but they co-own the business, if that makes sense.
It does.
it
Okay.
does. Okay,
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank
that's
you.
all we need. Thank you.
So we've had a final call for others to speak to the variance request. Hearing none, the board may entertain a motion so we can enter a period of discussion.
I can make a motion if, Madam Chairman.
Sure.
I move for the approval of application 26-93007, which is a variance to zoning ordinance section 4.2.1 to permit an approximate 8.9 foot side yard setback and an approximate 25.4 rear yard setback on property zone residential single family RS6 and generally located at 126 English Oak Lane, Northwest, tax parcel number 104-08-06-011. The final order shall run with the land, and the final order be recorded at the Aiken County ROD office.
Thank you, Bud. Do we have a second?
I second that.
John has seconded the motion. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none. Those in favor of the motion, please show by raising your right hand. It is unanimous. If there's no further business, I shall adjourn the meeting. Oh, we do have further business.
Talk of training.
I had a feeling you might bring that up. That's why I said that at the beginning. John, you have the floor.
I was just I'd like to know, Max, if there's any clarifications or progress on training.
Yeah, the planning department hasn't arranged anything at this time, but as we've discussed, we will certainly provide you with some options shortly, including a joint session. Should folks not want to do it on their own, have that opportunity to come into the planning department and get that training done. There's also been some discussion of potentially attending some of the American Planning Association meetings. That hopefully will be an option for you as well moving forward. That would require travel to other jurisdictions for those meetings. I believe the next one is the fall meeting, and I think it's in Columbia. But potentially we can get you guys to go to those as well if you're interested. You wouldn't have to stay for the whole thing. You only require, I think, 3 hours, but they do run for a couple days, so you could pick a couple presentations, but those are in person. So potentially get you to do that too. So
I have one more.
Yeah.
When I took my training this year, no one charged me anything, and I guess it was billed to the planning department.
that I'm not sure if we received an invoice for that or not.
But
There
I
are-
got the certificate from,
There are a number of free resources, but they are limited.
no, this was the state who normally provides the training.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, there's a couple different options. But yeah, the planning department can potentially also purchase courses as well as necessary. Or, pay for attendance to one of the SCAPA meetings.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman.
You're welcome. If there's no further business,
Make a
Then
motion to
meet-
adjourn?
we're finished our business, so we can adjourn.
Thank you.